Making a contact print step by step. Positioning the enlarger. Close the slot where the negative carrier is inserted in the enlarger head so the light will shine only on the baseboard end. It's not coming out of the slot. This is particularly important in schools. Other people's prints switch on a larger lamp. Place the printing frame on the enlarger baseboard. Raise the enlarger head until the light covers the entire printing frame. Set Step 2. Set the lens aperture and the enlarger. Timer. As a trial exposure, set the enlarger lens aperture to f11 and the timer to 3 seconds. Do a test strip using 3-second interval. Step 3. Identify the emulsion site of the negative end papers. The emulsion sides of the negative must face the emulsion side of the paper. Film tends to curve towards its emulsion side, which is duller than the back side. Insert the negative and one sheet of paper in the printing frame. The paper goes on the bottom of emulsion side. The negatives go above the paper. Emulsion side down. The glass top of the frame sandwiches the negative and paper together tightly. If you don't have a printing frame, you can only simplify but put the paper on the larger baseboard, take the negatives on top of it, and on plain sheet of glass overall. Expose and process the print. Put the printing frame in the place under the larger head. Push the timer button to turn the larger light on and expose the print. Process the paper. After fixing, evaluate the print. And the last, evaluate the print. Some of the prints will be lighter or darker depending on the exposure it's receiving the camera. To judge print's exposure overall, examine the film edge of the print. They should be black but with the edge number legible and with its 35 millimeters film, a very slight difference between the edges and the darker spot tolls. Here's the photo enlarging step by step. First, setting up the enlarger. Place your negative in the enlarger carrier. The enlarger carrier is a plastic tray that slides out of the enlarger. To put your negative in it, open up the tray and insert the negative into it so the image you want to enlarge is lined up with the square hole in the tray. Then close the tray and slide the carrier back again into the enlarger. Step 2. Clamp the enlarger down over the carrier. Clamping down the enlarger will see the negative inside of the enlarger carrier. The right way to clamp down the enlarger will depend on the photo enlarger you're using, but there's usually a switch or lever on the side of the device that you're supposed to pull or turn. Step 3. Position a sheet of scrap paper on the projection plane. The projection plane is the flat frame that holds the paper you'll be projecting onto. Lift up the top layer of the frame and insert a scrap piece of paper before closing it again. Then place the frame back down on the base of the enlarger. Number 4. Turn off the lights in the dark room. Turning the lights off will make it easier to see your image project on the piece of scrap paper. It's also important that you turn the lights off since you'll be working with the actual photo paper. Later on, if the lights are on when you remove the photo paper from the packaging, it will be real. Step 5. Turn the enlarger on using the timer. The timer is the small box that connects to the enlarger by a cord. To turn the enlarger on, locate the on switch, the timer and flip it up. After you flip it, the display on the timer should light up. Then press the outlet focus to turn the light bulb inside the enlarger. Step 6. Adjust the height of the enlarger until the image fits on scrap paper. There should be a knob on the enlarger near the back or on the side. They allows you to raise and to lower it. When you raise the enlarger, the project image will get bigger. When you lower the enlarger, the image will get smaller. Focus the image using the knob on the side of the enlarger. Enlarger negative, it will likely be out of focus. To fix the turn the knob clockwise and counterclockwise until the image looks clear and close. And the last, set the aperture on the enlarger. F8 for most photographs. The aperture setting determines how wide the lens opening the enlarger. The higher the aperture, the wider the lens and the more the light passes through. The more light that passes through, the brighter your image will be. To adjust the aperture, rotate the lens on the enlarger until you get to f8. Thank you.